Hey, how's it going? So this is very, very refreshing to see. So this guy is like top 4 player in EU West, Uli, I think Ullehzx, right? And he was breaking down malphite matchup, right? As I was watching the game, I literally saw myself. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're against malphite top, eventually you're gonna lose the matchup, right? Because malphite just outscales Tryndamere so hard, it's not even funny, right? So of course he went 3-0 against malphite, but at the end of the day they lost the game, right? If you watch this video, I'm not gonna play it, but I mean they lost the game, right? Because his teammates suck, right? The enemy jungler went on a rampage. Of course the enemy team has Tristana is OP, right? And malphite is being malphite, he can press R and always gonna be useful, right? So you see, it doesn't matter how well you played, right? It doesn't matter if you went 5-0, right? If your team sucks, you lose the game. That's it, right? Now, anything will work instead of malphite in here. Anything. This can be a CC Leona top lane. This can be Nasus. Anything, right? Like, I'll show you, okay? I have exactly the same shit. Exactly. Here is Nasus, right? Here is me. I 5-0'd him, right? He's like 1-5. The only kill he got was on this guy, our jungler. And I could not really do the CS. I could not deny him a lot of CS because I got camped a couple of times by Talon. Like early game, Talon was sitting top a lot. But I mean, it's not gonna really help a lot Nasus, to be honest with you, because as soon as Talon leaves, like Nasus just dies, right? But he camped Nasus for a while. That's okay. Do you know what I mean? But you have to factor in the results are still the same. Nasus is feeding, right? I'm crushing it. My team is feeding, and I just lose the game, and that's it. So it's exactly the same in here, right? Top lane is crashing, Uli is crashing, right? Malphite is feeding, but Malphite gets to win the game, right? So there is currently no solution to winning the game against this strategy. I call this strategy Scaling Nasus, feeding teammates, which happen about um, which will happen about 55% of your games, right? Now, my fear is that this game, like picking tank or some kind of crowd control shit top, is so effective that you can potentially lose game to your mom. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't know how to play the game, but she picks Malphite top or Maokai or Sion, anything with crowd control, and that is a tank, that is brain dead, right? And now it doesn't matter how many times you kill your the tank top, right? Whoever has the better team will win, regardless of your performance. All right, because pressing one button is enough to counterplay your years and years and years of experience. Does that make sense? Because malphite is going to be useful with just one button press, right? And you, as I don't know, Riven, Jax, Tryndamere, Garen, whatever, you have to actually use your brain to play. You have to, you have to back correctly, you have to push, you have to macro correctly. Whereas Malphite can just walk around with his jungler as a support, and that's all he has to do. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have to use his brain at all. So that's what I'm saying is the game is becoming so brain dead that playing like Tryndamere or whatever Riven is becoming pointless. Do you know what I mean? It's just I know you're gonna win more games. I can tell you, yes, you will. You will win more games if you play Camille, Tryndamere, and if you play well, right, you win probably like 60-70%. As a Malphite top, like 51, 55. You probably 55 is a squeeze, right? You'll be lucky if you have 55, right? But it's easy. Do you understand? Malphite top, you can literally put series on your second monitor and play the game, and you win 55% of the time because it's so brain dead and so easy. Whereas playing as Tryndamere or Riven or Jax or whatever Camille top, it requires a lot of focus, effort, and it's like you're working. It's like a full-time job. And the benefit is you get plus 10% win rate, which is if you calculate cost to benefit, it's a total waste of your time, right? Because a guy like I said before, a stay-at-home mom can come in and 55% of the time she can probably beat you with this strategy. Whereas you have to like really play hard. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get to the point where um, Faker is gonna lose a game to his granny at some point, right? Because the game is becoming so brain dead, and this tank strategy, top lane, is becoming so effective, right? I mean, there's a dude who is inting a Sion, and he made it to Masters, Grandmasters, I think, right? I don't remember his name, but I mean, he literally goes like 0-12, 0-12 every game. His KDA is negative, and he's Grandmaster. That tells you that if you play enough games with a tank top, right, who has utility, like Malphite, Sion, it's actually profitable strategy. And when you watch how he plays versus other players, I doubt that he analyzes anything. Do you know what I mean? He just sits there, he chills, drinks his coffee, he doesn't give a fuck, right? So I'm just saying that, now he cannot do that in a one-on-one. That's why I like to play one-on-one. You cannot utilize this silly strategy in a one-on-one, because in one-on-one, if you're shit at the game, you're gonna get punished for it. Do you know what I mean? You cannot cruise your way into winning because you just sit under turret, you go 0-6, and your team um, carries you because you pressed an R. You pressed R button. Do you know what I mean? So bottom line, what I wanted to show is like this guy plays his top four players on the server. I mean, I think he was top three, right? So he cannot solve the problem of carrying against this strategy that I call scaling Nasus, feeding teammates, right? Because this is a clear situation where his team kind of sucks, right? They don't know what they're doing, even though they're gold ahead. Their decision making is bad, right? So he's slowly bleeding out, right? So I'm saying this happens on my level exactly the same. There is Nasus, I absolutely destroy him top. Jungle comes in, they um, camp me, right? And I simply bleed out because my teammates are just worse than his teammates, and that's it. And you have to factor in I'm a lot more skilled than this Nasus, but he gets to win, right? Likewise, in this situation, I mean, like, the skill difference between Uli and this Malphite is so vast, it's not, we don't even want to go into that conversation. But Malphite gets to win. So do you see how I arrive at the metaphor that they can be, at some point, the game will evolve to such brain dead level where a Faker will lose to his granny who is playing this strategy against him. Do you know what I mean? And then you're gonna be interviewing him, be like, Faker, how did you lose to your granny? Granny doesn't even know how to play the game. And he'll be like, well, there are champions in this game where you just go 0-20 and you just press R and crowd control is so heavy. Like Amomo is another example of that. Amomo can go 0-20 if he wants to. Absolutely no problem. But his R is so effective and now he has double bandages, which is like double Q, right? You don't need to know how to play. You just press R, and that's it. And again, I have a lot of videos on this where I'm saying that the game is just evolving into becoming a RAM. It's not even a game anymore. It's just like it's simply a RAM, right? Where you pick like I don't know Amumu, Malphite, Sejuani, Lissandra with Misfortune, and everybody just presses R, and the enemy team just evaporates, right? And then you say, okay, well, what if the enemy team also has wombo combo? Well, it's whoever presses R first wins then, right? Whoever gets locked in the chain CC just loses, and this becomes this absolute chaotic, weird game with no skill, where it's just this weird shit happens. Like the reason why I play League is because I like things like CSing correctly, managing your wave, right? Itemizing correctly, backing correctly, right? Doing small things like taking Krugs, pushing the wave, taking Krugs to maximize your efficiency, right? But as I continue to kind of observe the game, I realize that this doesn't matter anymore. Do you know what I mean? All this shit doesn't matter. Just pick a tank top with heavy crowd control, and all your problems are solved. That's it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's about it. That's why I like one-on-one. That's why I consistently tell people stop playing 5-on-5, play one-on-one. It's much better because in one-on-one, all of your skills actually matter, and you cannot utilize this brain-dead stupid strategy in a one-on-one. He cannot go full tank in a one-on-one. Why? Because Uli will simply proxy farm against him. Uli can take a turret because Malphite does no damage. You understand? Right? In here, it works. Why? Because he wins through crowd control and his team. All right. He does not have to be effective. He just has to press R and not die too many times. Even if he dies too many times, it doesn't matter, right? He just has to be like a brain dead tank, right? And that's exactly what he's doing. You see, he's going 0-3, and that's what he's building. Full tank. And I have exactly the same. I'm showing you here, right? There are no items in here, but this guy went exactly the same build. Ninja Tabi, Bramble Vest, Thornmail, um, Frozen Heart, right? Radiant Omen, right? This is the standard build, standard shit. Now, he cannot do that in one-on-one because if he does that, he just simply forfeits the game because he can't farm anymore, right? You can win by 100 CS, you can take his turret, you can do whatever the hell you want. The map is yours. Well, I'm saying map, but I mean in one-on-one you can just, I mean, what is it gonna do? Hit you with 50 damage? You're gonna laugh at him, right? You absolutely gonna laugh at him. Now, another video I want to show you is this guy here. So I was saying that this is Malphite tank, this is a Nasus tank, right? But realistically, anything with crowd control is going to work. So this is a video I made. You can see on my channel. This was Zaya. Zaya is a support, right? And he was top lane against me, and he went 0-12, and I still lost the game to him. My teammates were as usual, right? We're not even gonna go there. But do you see, just simply having crowd control, as long as you're playing against idiots, you're gonna win the game. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna outplay this. I did outplay it for the whole game, right? But my team will not. And Zaya just coming in pressing R is enough to carry the game because these guys are brain dead. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is this can be like Nasus, this can be Malphite, it makes no difference. If your team is this bad, like there is no way to win the game, right? This is what I'm saying is that like that's why I just play one-on-one. It's pointless. 5-on-5 is pointless. There is no solution to this problem right now. Because I used to play League and I used to think that if your skill is high enough, you will be able to carry any game. But I don't think, like, the more I play now, the more I realize that Riot does not want solo carries. They do not want. They want a RAM. That's what Riot wants. If you ask, like, where is the game heading? It's heading into a RAM, right? They do not want single players dominating the game. They want teamwork, right? And you have to factor in the costs as a player of relying on your team to win. That means you're gonna be coin flipping. That's it, right? If Riot takes away solo ability to carry, right, it's gonna become unplayable. It's gonna become absolutely unplayable. But I see a lot of demand. Like I see, 1 second. Like I start to notice there are a lot more players playing one-on-one because I think people are starting to realize. I mean, this is just bullshit. If you can play well, you deserve a win. Do you know what I mean? Because right now it's kind of doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Now you can still carry the game. You can carry the game if you're playing against another bruiser. So like if this, if we swap malph to, for example, let's say this was Camille, right? Well, Camille has, well, let's say Camille, okay? And Camille is like 0-7, right? Now that's a bit of a problem because they're now player down, and Camille, like, that doesn't have items is kind of useless, and she's gonna feed. She's not gonna be effective in team. She's effectively like a bag of gold for anyone. So from this perspective, his team can just capitalize on unfed Camille. But I mean, what are you gonna do against tank? Well, you just can't kill him. Do you know what I mean? So his team, not only are they shit, they can't even utilize on the efforts that Uli did. And you can also see, like, I have the same problem. I mean, Nasus at about 22 minutes is simply gonna like steamroll my entire team, right? Even though he is like 0-5. Now again, if this was, I don't know, Garen, who is like 0-5, you can imagine Garen running at you and he has shoes and, I don't know, Noon Cleaver. What is it gonna do? Like, you're just gonna, Vayne is just gonna like 3-hit him. Do you know what I mean? But again, you see, the problem is that this is a tank with crowd control. And again, this video here, you see, this is what's her name, Zaya or whatever her name is. I forgot her name. Plant Lady, right? Like, Plant Lady has her R. She's still gonna be useful. So you see, what I'm saying is, like, this strategy of going safe and just coin flipping is very effective because the effort to pull it off is effective, right? Because for me, like, I had to really play. Do you know what I mean? I had to really play. But I mean, this is. But you see, I don't have. I'm just telling you, just go 1-on-1. Just play 1-on-1, and that's it. Like, 1-on-1 is league 1-on-1. I think is the way forward for the game, in my opinion, right? Now, because you're gonna have a split. You're gonna have split of players. I think going forward. One is gonna be children, like, who like to play Aram. They don't give a shit about win rates. They just want to, come in and hit the buttons, right? I have a friend who does that, right? He comes from work. Well, he's not a friend, but I mean, he's a person I know, right? He comes home from work and he just gets either super drunk or super high, and he just sits, and that's all he wants to do. He just wants to see the animations on the screen. He doesn't really give a damn, right? If he wins or loses, I don't really care. And he plays Aram all the time, right? But for serious players, who use League as kind of a way to perfect themselves, I suppose, which is another channel. Like, I like to, perfect myself in programming and perfect myself as well in anything I do, right? So League of Legends is something I enjoy, right? So I want to perfect myself, right? I think players like me are simply gonna move to 1-on-1 or to a different game, right? Because I'm looking at this because in my head, I realize that there is really no solution to this. You are at the mercy of the system, and that's it, right? And if the system, because you see, the problem fundamentally, the issue is like this. If you replay this game 100 times, Uli, or if you replay this game 100 times, the outcome is going to be the same, right? You just simply cannot win. So if the system, for some reason, puts you into this game 20 times in a row, you now, congratulations, you now went from diamond to um, gold level. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, how is that your fault? You're playing well. I mean, you deserve to win. But I wrote that in here. I wrote that as a comment. I think potential solution to this is where you contact customer service in Riot and you give them the VOD of the game. I mean, they'll have the VOD. You just give them the name of the game, right? The ID, game ID. They watch the ID and they refund you your LP and MMR, right? So you do not lose MMR or LP, right? Ideally, what they should do is simply assign win to Tryndamere and loss to Malphite. All right. I think that's kind of, this would be a fair solution, I would say, because you cannot be playing like shit and winning the game. Would you agree? Like you cannot go 0-12, 0-12 in your lane and win the game, right? Likewise, you should not go 14-0 in your lane and you lose the game. Do you know what I'm saying? It's stupid. It should not be happening, right? So yeah, as of now, I'm just saying that there is absolutely no solution to this problem, which is scaling. I call it scaling Nasus and feeding teammates. Well, fundamentally, the issue is feeding teammates, of course. Like there is no solution to this, right? And the way to enjoy League is just to play one-on-one. If you play 5-on-5, it's a waste of your time, right? And my potential solution, if like if somebody from Riot ever asks, how can we solve this? Customer service ticket. We write the ticket, right? We give you the game number. You look at the game number. You watch the VOD. I don't know, fast on like 5x speed. You look at this. I mean, this is clearly this guy should not win this game, and you refund LP or whatever. You swap LP, right? That would be fair. Then there is, like, in my mind, then there is a point in playing 5-on-5, because you know that if you play well, right, if you know CS correctly, play your character correctly, buy correctly, dive correctly, back correctly, like, it is there is a point in doing that, right? And you will climb, whereas this is just like you're just coin flipping. All right, take care.